Alright guys, so I hope you're doing fine as always. Today I'm making another video about this 3.1R trade that I took on TRX. I did record my chart live when I was making this setup, so without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Alright guys, so now for the actual TA part of the video. I'm here on CoinGlass on the funding rate heat map. I will leave the link to this in the description of the video. So what does this heat map shows us? It pretty much shows us an overview of the funding rates of different assets right here across a time range. I have it set on 30 days right now based on the open interests. But what does this show us? The more yellow the squares are, the higher positive the funding rates will be most likely. Opposite to that, the more blue the squares are, the more likely the funding fees will be negative. So knowing we're in a bull market right now, we saw all this yellow right here, so high positive funding rates. But after the cool down, we could see that the funding rates pretty much got reset for most of the assets. But what did we see here the last final days? That we're starting to see blue squares, meaning the funding rates are starting to turn negative, resulting or meaning that people are more so shorting. So this does personally interest me in order to look for some type of reversal trades. Knowing that people are shorting, knowing the market maker wants to try and take out some liquidity or make some liquidity, I'm interested in looking for a long position on some of the coins that turned or had their funding rates or funding fees turn negative. So knowing that, I did go through these coins. I eventually landed on TRX. You could see they had this, let's go back a little bit back. And we could see here they had their funding rates reset as well, but these past couple of days, it's starting to turn negative. So knowing this, I opened the TRX chart and we saw it had this nice move up, but then had this pretty harsh drop again back to these levels where everything started again. So knowing that the funding fees here are negative, so shorts are in control, knowing this is quite a good or quite an interesting level for us, I was very much interested in looking for a long position here. We can play the video a little bit. So first of all, we're going to identify zones of interest. I think this doesn't need much explanation why this is a very interesting zone for us. So previous resistance, we want to see if they can turn this into support. So I'm curious for a long position somewhere there. TP targets, vector candle as usual. So a stop loss we will be looking for right here. So I'm deciding to put my stop loss somewhere below the candle closes of this previous resistance. You could see here they wicked above, which we want to see turn into some type of support, but we have our stop loss on the body closes of these candlesticks. So this green vector, this red vector, this white one, and this gray one, because if they break through it, we fail to find support, and the chances are we will take out this liquidity or go to this vector right there. So we really want to see a bounce of this level. That's the reason why we put our stop loss below the body closes of these candles. Here we zoom in a little bit more. So fine-tuning the TP target, the entry zone. You can see it's almost there, so we have to act fast here. As we're pretty much already on the entry zone, I did set a limit order. Luckily, it got hit there. Again, TP on this strong vector candle right here. Reason why you could also target these ones, fair enough, but I was looking for a more secure trade, let's say, so I did not want to be too greedy with my TP. Decided to go for this vector candle right here. Again, stop loss here is below these body closes with a little bit of wiggle room, and the entry on the previous wick right there. Having a quick look on the smaller time frames, but this was mainly a 1 hour to 4 hour time frame play, so the switch to the 5-minute was mainly just to see for the entry if it got hit or not. But that's pretty much everything to this trade. So we saw funding rates turning negative, knowing shorts or too many shorts or more shorts than longs. And side note, Bitcoin was also going down here a bit, but that's just a side note. But just knowing that the shorts were in, or there were more shorts than long positions, knowing how market maker moves, they want to create as much liquidity as possible. So looking for a reversal on these previously very strong zones seemed more than natural to do for me. I hope you had the same instincts when you saw this chart for the first time. So when you saw it right here, I hope you had the same instincts that knowing that funding rates are negative, seeing that we're back on this area, that it would be somewhat a great zone to look for some type of reversal. So like I said, that's everything to this trade. So without further ado, let's go to the outro of the video where we can look to this trade in hindsight. Alright, so now we can have a quick look at this trade in hindsight. So first of all, the screenshot of the trade, entry at 0.22511, 0.22511, TP at 0.25860, 2.5860, resulting into a 276% ROI on 18x leverage. It doesn't matter too much. The important thing for us is it's a 3.1R trade. So now what can we see here about this trade in hindsight? We see that it's pretty much reacted perfectly of this previous resistance level, so it's turned into support. We had a very, very clean bounce of it, very aggressively. Bitcoin probably also made this bounce. We took out this liquidity zone right here, came back into this vector candle that we were targeting, but just not far enough, so we had to sit through all this movement, which is probably a couple of days, so from Saturday to Tuesday, to then eventually hit the take profit here on this vector candle. If we look or zoom out a little bit further, we could see they did recover the full vector candle already. They tried and go for some liquidity here, but didn't hit quite yet. And it's now just ranging sideways. So again, having your TP here is also still valid with an entry like that, but it's never for sure. You can't be too greedy. Hence why I targeted this vector candle right here. It's quite a strong bounce zone right here that we see. Can be considered some type of dead cat bouncing right here. Big red vector candle, so good enough TP for me personally. If we zoom out again to the 4-hour time frame, we could see this bounce of this zone quite perfectly. Also on the 4-hour time frame, they did recover all these green vector candles right now and bounced of it. Could say we still have this one right here, which is valid. It got tapped into a little bit, but it's still a tiny vector candle unrecovered. But I think you can agree with me that these were the main vector candles of the move. And then having this wick right here, it's pretty much a perfect reversal zone. So that's everything to this trade. If there are any more questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section or on the Discord server, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care and see ya. Bye bye.